My goodness. Hello. I've been enjoying reading the chat. I didn't know Virgin River was already out. I guess I know what my evening plans are for tonight. My name is Karen. I will be your facilitator today. And in the chat is Jen K. She's coming on to give you a little wave. We are coming at you. I'm coming at you from right outside San Francisco. I had to think about that for a second. I'm going to be completely and totally transparent. I am trying to kick a stomach virus. So if all of a sudden I seem very rushed through words and music comes on, you'll know exactly why. But so far, so good. I was even able to teach a bar class this morning without issue. So fingers crossed. I'm so glad that you guys are here to join us. Do we have anyone who this is their very first time? Anybody, this is their very first social. We are very happy to have you, Janine. So one thing is make sure, and Christina, that you change your everyone, you change your host and panelists to everyone. So look for that little blue pull down. You'll see a picture right here. That's where you're going to want to do that pull down. Now, I will say, if you are on an iPad or iPhone, sometimes it will revert back. And so always check, especially if no one's replying to your comments, if that might be it. Well, I'm very excited that we have a lot of first timers here with us tonight and a new subscriber. So good. I'll tell you, I've been with my Silk and Saunders journey for about, it was 3 years in February. And I will absolutely say that without a doubt, it has changed my life in the very, very best way. I also want to give you a heads up. The chat sometimes can go fast and sometimes it can seem a little overwhelming. I will say without a doubt that I have never filled out every page of my journal. Not once. Has this journal still been really great for me? Absolutely. So if this is your first time and you're like, I don't know what to do with these two spaces, leave them blank, put a sticker on it, stick a quote on it, make it something that you love. When you're opening the journal, it just seems like it is awesome and you are enjoying it. This journal should always be a source of joy and not a sense of stress. So if it's becoming stressful, step back, make it a little bit less. Like I said, you don't have to fill out everything for its work. I'll be honest with you, the last 2 weeks have been really busy for me. And the thing I've used the most is the planner section. And that's not normally the way it goes for me. Usually it's the planning out section. Week to week, the way your life looks is different. This journal can support you through that. Another thing I will recommend if you are brand new is use your phone, or if you're on a computer, to take screenshots of things that you like. We're always happy at the end to scroll back, but it can kind of ruin the vibe if like every few seconds I'm having to go back when people are trying to read a prompt or something. So those screenshots can be really valuable. So without further ado, let's just dig in. This month's theme is flourish, and I am loving this theme. I think it is such a beautiful introduction to fall. I was a school teacher for years, so fall is one of my absolute favorite starting points, just like January. And so thinking about how we can flourish through our life is it's just a beautiful theme, and hopefully one that can make you appreciate some things that you may not have thought about, and hopefully won't be too deep for you guys. I'm not gonna lie, some of the themes, tranquility was hard for me. I was really struggling to find, I was struggling to find tranquility. What can I say? So I have a feeling that flourish is going to be right up my alley this month. Our community guidelines are here. Be kind and courteous to yourself. Number one, to yourself. Do not ruminate. Do not second guess what you put in the chat. Be kind to yourself and to others. No promotions or spams. We're really proud if you wrote a brand new book, but this is not the place to tell us. Respect everyone's privacy. Even we've had people who discovered they know other people outside in the real world. What we say here is confidential. We don't take it in the outside world. Obviously, no hate speech or bullying. Limit repetitive product and accessory questions. A great place to post is in Sonder Club for those things. It's everyone has a different idea of what it is that they like as far as pins and stickers and those types of things go. We're happy to definitely help the newbies lead you into a direction of pins and such that do not bleed through, but we don't want it to take over the chat and interfere with the flow and the vibe. Jen, Kay, and I do not work for headquarters. So if you are having any customer care issues, please email hello@silkandsonder.com. Unfortunately, we cannot dig in and like figure out where your planner is if it hasn't arrived, etc. And then very lastly, Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community, but you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So I just saw one of our new people just put in the chat, does it matter that my first journal is for October, not September? If it was me, what I would do is I would work on a separate sheet of paper for the journal prompts. And then I would spend time taking notes and taking screenshots so that I would know exactly what I was doing when I started in October, because we'll be working on specific pages that you're going to want to work on in October. So yeah, absolutely. I love this quote over on the left-hand side. I think I'm going to permanently leave it on the slide. You're not a victim for sharing your story. You're a survivor, setting the world on fire with your truth. And you never know who needs your light, your warmth, and your raging courage. That gives me shivers just thinking about it. And so we encourage you to celebrate the good things and to also let us support you in the bad things here in the socials as well as in Sonder Club. I want to give us a little grounding before we actually dig in. I know a lot of people are huge Brene Brown fans, and I like this quote a lot because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic and perfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. So let yourself be authentic. There is no more profitable investment than investing in yourself. It is the best investment you can make. You can never go wrong with it. So I commend you right now for taking this time and carving it out of your schedule to be here for investing in yourself today. Looking to see what Tina said. You could keep the separate sheets together and cut them down to fit the Octobers and then staple them to the front of the back. You could, I'll say that when I was a school teacher, I was a science teacher for 5th grade. I did a lot of journaling, and a lot of times I would take paper, fold it in half, and then close it, and then we'd stick rubber bands around it. So if you're working and you want to be able to keep all of your Sonder journey together, maybe that's an option. Or a lot of times people will cut a page that they're not using. So think about cutting this. This is totally off topic, but what can I say? It's the school teacher in me. Cut this guy off, throw away the top, keep the bottom, glue the bottom, put glue right along the edge, the bottom, and the edge where the paper comes up. And then you have a pocket that you can stick in the journaling pages that you're working on right now. If you're in an October journal and you don't want to do that. Yeah. What can I say, Tina? You got me going. I love it. Okay. So it's time for us to go into our agenda. We're going to do our Flourish Mind Map. Those of you who are new, you're not going to find this in your journal. So doing it on a spare sheet of paper is no big deal. I'll give some other suggestions of where to put it as well. It is only at our weekly socials. And it is one of my favorite, Maya, one of the other facilitators, and I create them every month. And we love getting together and trying to figure out what's going to work best for the community and the theme and make sure we're not repeating the themes of the journal prompts in there. We're going to do an activity that is a reflection called our Rosebud and Thorn. We're going to set up our week and then we're going to close it out. So our Flourish Mind Map. This month, we're going to explore how we can allow ourselves to flourish into action, abundance, and joy. We're going to have 4 weeks to focus on flourishing this month. And this week, we are going to be looking at week 2. Now, I know we didn't have any facilitators available to run a weekly setup last week. My mother-in-law was in town. Bailey was on a cruise. It was those types of things. So if you have not done week 1, feel free to do week 1 as well as week 2. You can do this on a notes page, a separate sheet of paper, a page that you don't use. Maybe you don't use your sleep tracker. Some people really enjoy using the definition page and drawing it into 4 quadrants. I've also seen people use their scratch pad in their weekly setup. So any place that works for you is fine for you to be able to do this. So Week one was, what things do I need to flourish? Like, I know for me, I need a good night's sleep. I need nutritious food. I need to move my body. I need lots of water. So that's kind of what that week one was about. Now, week two, that's this week. Where do I need to be to flourish? This one is really touchy for me right now. Those of you who, and there are some of you who know me quite well, I'm a Pilates instructor, and Wednesday is my last day at the first studio I've ever worked at. But I realized that as much as I love my clients, that was not an environment I was going to flourish in. I wasn't going to be able to be as creative and as fun as I wanted to be with someone who was micromanaging me with a different vision than it is that I wanted to. So I know what it is that I want is not out there, so I'm going to have to create it myself. So I know I need to be able to have a creative, judgmental environment for me to be able to be around, to be able to work. In addition to that, in my house, to be able to flourish, I need not to have clutter. I need to have candles. I need to have fresh flowers. I need to have a good book always ready for me. And let's face it, I love a good Halloween decorating magazine. So as soon as it comes out, I pull those out. Those are the types of things that feed my soul, make it feel like home to me. So I am going to go and change the playlist. This is a really interesting, chill lo-fi playlist. I hope that you find it very relaxing. I'm going to give you some time to work. I'm going to go off camera, and we're here to support you in the chat. All right. I love the things that Tracy was talking about to be able to help her flourish. I'm looking, I know she said Whole Foods, good coffee. Oh, love that. Movement, friends, a God who loves me. Love that. And a job where that challenges you, but where your gifts and talents are appreciated. I love that. And I know Jen put in looking at nature. I mean, it does relieve stress. So getting out in nature is like one of the best things that we can do, even if it's just sitting on your back porch, having a cup of tea in the morning or your cup of delicious coffee. So the next section we're going to go into is our rosebud thorn. And we are going to be filling this out unless you do not have a journal. It is page 36. But if you don't have a journal, you could do this anywhere, on a sticky note, on a separate sheet of paper. Any place will work for this. Rose is our highlight. Bud is an emerging opportunity, and a thorn is a challenge. So to give you an example, the rose for me is that my mother-in-law was in town this week, and I was able to shower her with luxury at spas and nice restaurants and good conversation and drives along the water. So that was awesome. A bud is an emerging opportunity. You guys already know that I'm finishing up my work at one studio. It's going to be a little bittersweet. Hopefully a lot of those customers come with me, but the ones that aren't, I will absolutely miss. And then a thorn is definitely the stomach bud. So that's my rose bud thorn. Once again, going off camera, putting some music on. We would love to see in the chat your rose, your bud, your thorn, whatever you feel comfortable sharing in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing. It was great to hear from some of you. I'm like, a new meditation course. Great, Grace. That's awesome. I actually downloaded a program on to become a meditation teacher. So I'm excited about that too. We got vacations. We have people who are having success at their journaling consistently. And Elizabeth, yes to the naps. Always yes to the naps. Always, always. Okay, so we're going to dig into our main event, our weekly planner. Love this quote. As we get through and we start digging into it, time is precious, time is finite, value time. That's what matters, right? We probably have all seen the quote from the beautiful model who was, talking on her deathbed of like, I had a private plane and now I'm stuck in the hospital bed. I had this time. This is what we all have. This is what's most important. So keep that in mind when you're making your to-do list and when you're creating these habits, make sure it's lighting you up and that it's not just one more thing you feel like you have to do. So we are going on to page 40. And if you are brand new, I encourage you to take a screenshot of this page. It gives you a lot of ideas if one of the sections does not work for you. Just because it's printed at the top in the heading does not mean you have to use it. Any of these ideas will absolutely work, and you can create your own ideas. And I encourage you to create your own ideas and share them in Sonder Club because I want to share them with everybody else. I will share with you some different examples, and then I'm going to break it down in smaller parts and give you time to work. So over here on our left-hand side, the to-do bingo is where people write the things that they've accomplished instead of a to-do. So I'm assuming that this is posted at the end of the week. How she wants to feel, she used a sticker. Awesome. You're going to see in the morning, she has things like tracking food, her nightly face routine, cleaning the kitchen, any of those types of things. Over here on the right-hand side, notice in the calendar that she has coded it for different appointments and things that are going on. And I also want you to notice that in the habit section, she didn't fill out every single line. Look at what your week looks like. And if it's a really busy week, it's not the week to do 5 new things. Pick the basics or maybe one new thing that you know you can keep up with. I love the focus, get outside, move my body, disconnect to connect. I mean, how great is that for goals? Over here on the left-hand side, she wanted to feel tranquil. She was leaning into last month's theme. Her goals were mind, body, and spirit. I love framing the goals that way. Her to-dos are just normal to-dos. And then notice in her habits and activities, something she wanted to do 7 times. So it's okay in your your monthly setup to carry some of those goals or activities that you were marking there and mark them here as well. That is completely and totally okay. Sometimes I do that, especially with a new habit, so that I remember to turn back and mark it in the monthly section. Over here on the right, I just love the nice little geometric shape. It just makes it fun and pleasurable when you open it. And then also that acronym of how I want to feel. Keep it simple and satisfying. And notice they're catching glimmers. Those are looking for the things that are the opposite of triggers. So those little things that light you up. Afternoon reset. And then eating the fruits and vegetables. And I love how she divided it off to color it in as she went. Oh, Scarlett, it's the best thing. Over here, we have in the to-dos, I need, want, and hope. This is another popular reframing for the to-dos, and I'm here for it. Sometimes one word isn't enough to explain how you want to feel. So she said inspired and hopeful. And then I love at the bottom that she's included a bubble bath here. So these habit and activities don't have to be just like the things you think you have to do. Like I have to get my workout in, I have to get this many steps in. And trust me, even as an instructor, sometimes I don't want to get my workout in, that I drink this much water. Put some things on there that are like something you're going to enjoy too. Over here on the right-hand side, she wants to feel aligned. And notice that theme is moved throughout the entire page. She will to be aligned. I will schedule my dermatologist appointment. I will budget, et cetera, et cetera. Her alignment, her intentions, her daily habits, and her mindset. And that is a reminder, if you have not looked at your intentions since you started this month, that you may want to review those intentions and habits. It's still early in the month, but it's always a good idea to look back at those to bring things that may have slipped from your mind to the forefront. So 3 major goals. Sometimes I don't have 3, sometimes it's just 1. And then I also wanted to say, it is okay to go after what you want. It might just want you to. Oop, 1 too many. Here's some, you can see I forgot to edit this slide. It still says August intentions. Imagine that it says September. I'm breaking up with the perfect, right? To go back and look at those intentions like I have mentioned. It could be a no goal. You could look at previous things that you haven't done that you think you might want to revisit, especially since it's a new season. Or maybe it's a personal challenge, like a fitness challenge, or a lot of times I'll do like a soups challenge or something along those lines. I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to give you time to work and not Scarlett, someone, Michelle, I'll go back. You're just gonna have to let me know if I'm going to the right page or not. Okay, here we go. I'm so sorry. I forgot to have this slide up. I think when I went from one slide to the next, it skipped it. So if you have not put how you want to feel up at the top, please do take a moment to write it down. Maybe you want to flourish. Maybe you want to feel calm or energized or on top of it. So make sure you do fill that out. So we filled out those major goals. It might have been 3, it might have been less than 3. And we are going on to our weekly to-dos. And just like someone talked about naps, give yourself what you need today. Coffee, patience, kindness, a timeout so you don't bust the vein on your forehead. It's called self-love. I love that one. It's so good. Scarlett, there is this wonderful coffee shop that I just absolutely adore. And I don't go every day, but I do go a couple of times a week. And it is, they just roast the beans there and everyone's so nice. And oh, it's just my happy place, literally my happy place. So we are going to move on to our weekly to-dos. You've seen people who've done to-dos or bingo boards, the wants versus needs. And then I think it was Grace maybe who was saying she's feeling a little bit overwhelmed. If that's the case, this Eisenhower matrix is a good way to kind of figure out what has to be done now versus what can be delegated or maybe just taken off the list for now. So the do, the decide, the delegate, and the delete. So the do are the things with that clear guideline you can't get out of, like a bill. Decide, there are things without a deadline that are easy to procrastinate. So maybe you just really have to make it a priority. The delegate, things that need to be done, but maybe you aren't the person who needs to do it. So for me, when my husband's out of town, it might be ordering in a couple of meals so that I'm not having to cook. Or it might be asking on a really busy day for my dog walker to take Snickers out one more day. So figuring those types of things out. And I totally consider Instacart a delegate for sure. And then delete distractions that make you feel worse about getting absolutely nothing done. Okay, in moderation. Social media, TV, binging. Now, if you're being intentional, like I'm going to be, and I'm going to be enjoying every moment of Virgin River, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're just clicking because you don't want to think. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to work on those to-dos. Okay, so we're still on page 40. This is our last section, and we're digging into the habit and activity. 5-minute self-care ideas when you want to feel happier. This is straight off Silk and Saunders Instagram page. If you are not there and you are on Instagram, it is a beautifully curated page with lots of affirmations and such and beautiful ideas. So I definitely encourage you to become a part of that community if you have not already. And then I love this one too. 10 years from now, make sure you can say that you chose your life, that you didn't settle for it. So I'm going to leave you to fill out some of these habits. Remember that time is the biggest resource ever, right? That you don't want to overcommit yourself. You want to set yourself up for success. And at least one of these things has to be something. I'm making this rule up as I go, but it should be something you want to do that you're going to think that's really fun, that you, because it's on that page, you're going to take that time for yourself. Okay. Let us know what habits you are tracking this week. Okay. So I love, Holly, that you are going to take time to watch the birds. That is such an amazing thing to do. It's bringing nature and calm and peace. And that I'm so glad that your husband does have that paid leave. And I know that it can be trying to be a caretaker. I've been a caretaker in my life too. So much luck for that. Up next, we are moving on to page 41. Here are some examples of them. Once again, I'll break it down into smaller sections for you. Quotes of the week. So just because it says meal plan, if you do your meal planning elsewhere or you do not have a meal plan, you kind of forge as you need to do, maybe quotes or scriptures fits better for you. It looks like that they have their appointments like yoga, massage. I'm assuming maybe a book club is what is listed. And then see, She didn't want to use her shopping list, so she put stickers all over it. So love that. Over here on the right-hand side, we actually see someone who's filling out their meal plan very traditionally. Looks like they haven't quite finished it out yet, or maybe they only put their morning and lunch and dinner is more of a surprise. A lot of people will leave the mind body section blank and fill in what they have done for themselves as they go, which is a perfectly great technique. I love the little celebrate me bingo on the shopping list. And then I love that they spending time with someone special is their I'm loving. Over here, it looks like the highlights of the day is what they're listing over here in the bigger section. The Mind Body Health Plan is names of hikes they want to go on. I bet they're training for something. And make time to breathe, stretch, deep breathe, tea on porch. Love it. Here's a very in-depth meal plan. I want to come to their house for dinner. It looks like they're listing their workouts and their mind health plan, and then they're tracking their weight. But I've seen people use this section in the same kind of bar graph format for things like their tranquility or their calm or their stress or a physical symptom like your anxiety or depression. So those types of ways you can totally get into them and use. Affirmations is also a popular one to go here in the meal plan section. These can be from your app or from another place. I save affirmations that pop up from an app on my Apple Watch a lot. They changed their Mind Body Health Plan to a home cleaning plan. This is also a very popular way for people to be able to do it, especially if they're a clean mama or a flat lady. And I just want you to notice how good that cream whiteout looks. Like you really have to look twice. So if you're like wanting to wipe things out and stickers or washi tape is not for you, and you're not like me who just scratches through, you may consider getting on Amazon some off-white whiteout. Over here on the right-hand side, they got their eggs and their tacos. Yum. It's not Taco Tuesday though. No judging. Tacos are good every night as a Texan. I 100% agree. And they're listing out things like going to the park or coffee date for their mind body health section. Okay, so meal plan. And this also comes from the Silk and Saunders. I consider meal planning and meal prep self-care 100% because my future me is going to be very thankful that I did that work up front. But other ways that you can show yourself self-love: saying no, asking for help, connecting with loved ones, following your bedtime, investing in yourself, decluttering your space, taking that vacation, going outside for fresh air, enjoying your hobbies, making time for them, scheduled breaks during busy days, journaling to release worries. Now, I shared this about 3 weeks ago at One Social, but I thought it was worth leaving here too. The Mind Body Health Plan is usually the one that gets repurposed the most because it has the largest writing section. So if you are someone who is looking for some end of day or end of week questions, I belong to Kaiser for my healthcare. They have a Ginger app where you can have a health coach work with you, and they did a seminar, and this came from that seminar, and I took a screenshot of it and thought this might be beneficial to someone, so I thought I would put it in. If you like it, take a screenshot so you can refer back to it. And I love this quote: at the end of the day, take a few minutes to express gratitude for what the day has brought you. There is always something to be thankful for: a smile, sunshine, music, conversation, a good workout, whatever it may be, acknowledge it. This gives you some other examples of repurposing for that meal plan. I'm going to go off screen and give you time to work. Okay, so my favorite sections next is the mind body health plan. Some people, myself included, really like alliteration sometimes. So in this section, I might have tea Tuesday or meditation Monday, something along those lines. If you're looking for some different ideas, once again, that beautiful pink one at the bottom is from our Instagram feed. Now, over here in the right hand section, I also pulled from that workshop I did with Ginger. And I just wanted to point out there's nothing wrong with self soothing, but there is a difference between self care and self soothe. So let's see. Self soothe feels good in the short term. Spas, shopping, splurging on chocolate. And I don't mean mindfully eating chocolate because that's delicious and also reduces stress. Escaping through binge watching TV, scrolling on social media, guilty, spending too much money on vacations. Self care, going to bed on time, taking mindful breaks, stepping outside, getting a walk, setting boundaries, having nutritious and balanced meals, seeking support, deep breathing exercises, and mindfulness. So when you're thinking of these, there is nothing wrong with having some self-soothe. As I already mentioned, I took my mother-in-law I had 2 massages this week. That's never happened. But they didn't have a facial available and I wanted to show her 2 spas. So what are you going to do? But think about your self-care versus your self-soothe and make sure you at least have a couple of things that truly are going to make your future self happy. Here are some examples of some ways other members have utilized these. The 7 types of rest is very popular. That's the one in the middle, bingo board, using it for a couple of quotes. Meatless Monday, TV free Tuesday. See, I love that alliteration. Or someone making a kind of a board that they get to choose so they don't feel locked into one thing. I think that's a fun one too. Okay, I'll give you a quick couple of minutes for this one before we start with wrapping up with our last section. Okay, so we're going to dig into our very last section of the afternoon or evening, depending on where you're from. And that's going to be our shopping list and that I am loving. So, shopping list, once again, we see that bingo board. We have things where people use it as a packing list. They can use it for a quote or errands they need to run. Or sometimes, and I've done this in the past too, I've used it to make a bucket list. I've used it to write things down that I'm thinking about buying, but I don't want to impulse buy. And then here are quite a few other things that other members have used, including Wordle, their routine that they're trying to establish for morning or night, drawing, prayer list, etc. Our very last section is the I am loving. Love this quote too. You will change the world just by being a warm, kind-hearted human being. I'm going to go off camera one last time and play a song and let you work on these two sections. Okay, friends, thank you for the Snickers sighting. I'm a little hurt, man. He stopped sleeping with me and started sleeping with my mother-in-law, and I didn't know if I should be upset or not, but I'm glad that he loved her as much as I do. Yeah, Taylor, he chose my mother-in-law. So yeah, he abandoned me with my tummy ache. I'm not happy with you about that, buddy. Well, I know it was such a big betrayal. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to tell you about an experience that I had 2 weeks ago. I haven't done a social since. I had the opportunity, and I live right outside San Francisco. And if you know, our founder and our other facilitator, her sister, Malika, and Meha also live in the Bay Area. And I actually, even though I've been working here for 2 years, I actually got to go meet Malika and Meha, and I got to meet them. And I will tell you that Meha is just as genuine in person and exactly like I felt like when I met her, she was the exact same person that we hear in the daily rituals or through her founding letter. So I just wanted to say that, she is who she says she is. And I think that that's really cool. So we're going to wrap up and we are going to be, please share your weekly planner. Love to have all your great ideas. And we will wrap up with these QR codes. Refer a friend to Silk and Saunders. They get money, you get money. It's awesome. It's $10 for them, $10 for you. And we have some gorgeous candles and other things if you are not wanting one of the supplemental journals. Also, we're on Amazon and the Target website now, if you were unaware of that. Also kind of new. If you want to upgrade to your annual subscription, you're going to save $110 a year. I know it's not for everyone. You may be like, I don't know if this is going to work for me, or maybe I don't have that much money up front, but wanted to let you know about that. And then please join us in the app. That's where we can support you and where you're going to get so much value. Bingo boards, daily rituals, Sonder Club itself. There's so much value there. Your daily affirmation, quizzes. And then don't forget that YouTube link. If you are new, make sure you save it. It will not be there if you search for it, because it is a private channel. I thank you so much for your patience. I know I stumbled over my words a few times, so hopefully by tomorrow my stomach will be a little bit better. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you are not complete, we still have a Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and a Monday morning weekly setup. So we're here for you. Have a great rest of your evening.
Stuck in a box, can't get out. They don't want to hear my mouth. I think a little too much. They tell me my dreams are stupid, but if you're crazy enough to think you can change the world, you can change the world, girl.